Recording, please. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Vinay Kumar. I am pursuing BLS LLB from Advocate Balasaheb Apte College of Law. I would now like to give you a brief introduction on Law and Society Alliances. Law and Society Alliances is a national growth organization that focuses on intellectual work and intervention, both policy and legal, on issues such as legal and legislations, national security and strategic affairs, education and skill development, culture and history, business and economy, finance, inclusion, and vocational training. Basically, all aspects of human life and to make life itself a better for the people from all fields and sectors. Several advocates, doctors, engineers, businessmen, corporate leaders, government, and armed forces officials and officers are part of Law and Society Alliance, and it organizes events, seminars, webinars, field activity, and research on these subjects that it focuses on. Legal Cell is a group for professionals, enthusiasts, and students of law, politics, economy, business, and international relations, etc. Legal Cell focuses on training, webinars, lectures, etc. to add value to the existing skills and talents of youngsters and old alike. The organizers in this webinar, Mr. N.C. Vipindra, as an advocate in Supreme Court and Delhi High Court. He is editor of Defense Capital and chairman of Law and Society Alliance. Mr. H. Kumar Vaidyanathan, he is an advocate in High Court, Secretary General of Law and Society Alliances, and co-founder of Legal Cell. Media partner, Law School. So today's webinar is about motivation key to growth and productivity, and the speaker is an eminent personality, K. Vijay P. Mr. Vijay presented research paper for 36th Australian Conference of Economists held in Hobart, Tasmania, Australia in 2007, corporate trainer and his trained corporate executive of Fortune 500 and top MNCs including Oil and Natural Gas Corporation, Reserve Bank of India, Chennai Petroleum Corporation Limited, subsidiary of Indian Oil Corporation Limited, National Academy of Customs, Excise and Narcotics, Commercial Tax Staff Training Institute, Indian Audit and Accounts Department, Aga Khan Foundation, Andhra Pradesh Police Academy, Stella Maris, Jawaharlal Nehru Technology University, Hyderabad, Indo-German Training Center, Tamil Nadu Police Academy, etc. He further specializes in the area of career counseling, speed maths, and competitive exam coaching like GREE, GMAT, IELTS, PTA, CAT, MAT, CRT, aptitude training. He has groomed over 10,000 plus students since 2010. Currently, the MD of Sign Consulting Private Limited, he is also a member of HR and IR committee with the Federation of Telangana Chambers of Commerce and Industry. I request everyone to mute their mics, and if you have any questions, you may drop it in the chat box. Over to you, Mr. Vijay.
Yeah. So good afternoon to all of you, and I'm really happy, to present this topic, considering the fact that we're all going through a lot of, uncertainty during this COVID-19 crisis. So the topic is motivation and why it is a key to growth and then the productivity. So let me start, with this first slide. You can see there are a lot of images. So ultimately, it is going to boil down to your mindset, the way you think. And nothing is impossible, in this world. So you can look at an image below, wherein if you just look at it from two different sides, you can see a word called just do nothing. And then there is another word called it is impossible. So now when you stand, from a specific angle, and then when you look at it, you can see the words, just do it, nothing is impossible. So what matters the most is action. Please remember this. You have to take actions. If you don't take action, if you keep thinking, nothing is going to work for you. Very, very important. So the most important step forward, for anyone is to make sure that you plan, and then you will have to take an action as well. So we have something called thinkers and doers. So thinkers keep thinking all the time. It's not going to be effective, but doers are the one who actually implement it. So if you believe that you can do it, then yes, you can do it. Fine. And it is also important that for to be productive, you also have to be happy most of the time. If you're not happy, then what happens is you become very, very sluggish, you become lazy, you become dull, you see dark throughout, and that's not going to help you. So yes, it is important that to be successful, we need to have high levels of self motivation, and this program is actually a step forward towards it. Now please look at the next slide. You can see, Steve Jobs. Everyone knows Steve Jobs. And there's also a very beautiful quote, that he had stated. He very clearly tells that if you define the problem correctly, you almost have the solution. So almost. So if not, you almost, have the solution. So what is important is any problems that you face, in your real life as well, just try to understand and see what are the reasons for it, what has to be done, what do we need to do, and then start working towards it. Then definitely you'll have a solution. There's absolutely no doubt. Second most important thing is, don't compare yourself with any other person. You are unique, you're born for a reason, and the major reason for a person's failure is because they start comparing themselves with another person. So you can see there's a very beautiful quote over there which says, life is the most difficult exam. Many people fail because they try to copy others, not realizing that everyone has a different question paper. So we don't, all of us, we don't get the same question paper. It's just like, our fingerprint. So each one of us have a different fingerprint, and it's unique, right? So the fact is, it's the same even with life. So we all have different question papers. Don't compare yourself with others, but start working towards refining yourself. That's the most important key, right? And also understand that no point in thinking a lot about the past. So we waste a lot of time thinking about past. We are guilty, at times, and we are also anxious about the future, and that's not going to help us, because you are wasting your precious present time. So remember that God has given 86,400 seconds to each and every one of us every day. So we have to utilize it very, very effectively. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide, which is quite interesting. Okay, I'm sure all of you had a lot of plans, for 2020, but the reality is something else, right? So look at this formula. There's a very beautiful formula which says that disappointment is the difference between expectations and reality. So no matter whatever the expectations are, we have to live in a world of reality. And that is where the actual happiness lies. So if you look at the happiness formula, so happiness is nothing but it's equal to reality minus expectations. The more you live in a world of reality, the happier you are. Please keep this in mind. Very important. So we all had a lot of plans. We all planned, quite a lot of things in 2020. But then in reality, things are different. With COVID-19, there is a lot of uncertainty. Now we all have to accept this as a reality. We all have expectations. We have to keep working on towards that expectations. Then definitely, we will be successful. Okay, so keep this in mind. Yeah. So let me now move on to the next slide. Now this is a very interesting slide. I think somebody is unmute. My request to all the participants is please mute yourselves so that it will not be a disturbance for others. Yeah, thank you. Yes. Now here, what you can see is, no matter whatever the problems are, you just need one reason, to push yourself up. That's very, very important. So happiness is something, that will dwell from within our heart. Keep this in mind. Money cannot buy you happiness, nor anything else will buy you happiness. Okay. So happiness is something which you will automatically dwell from the heart. So one important step forward for progress is, by being happy. That's very important. And you can also see a very beautiful slide below, which says that so much of our happiness depends on how we choose to look at the world. See, both of them are traveling in the same bus. So one of them is happy, okay, and then you can see that the other person is unhappy, right? So it all depends on, how you choose to look at the world. You always have to be positive, in your thought process. Fine. And the next important thing is negative mind, yes, will never give you a positive life. Please keep this in mind. Okay. So negative mind will never give you positive life. That's very important. So you always have to make sure that no matter whatever you think, you are always positive. You are an optimist. That's important. Fine. Now, next, very important slide that I wanted to discuss is, especially during this COVID-19, it is going to play a very important role, and that's basically called the teamwork. So if you're having your own business, nothing wrong in collaborating. If you're a student, then work, along with your fellow classmates, and then see like what best you can do, how best you can use the present time, and then, move forward. It's important. Yes, of course, social distancing and then not meeting people is a challenge, but we have technology, right? So that is the major advantage, that we have. Fine. So let's come back to the next most important part of the slide, which wherein, we talk about what is called the teamwork. So here I'll tell you a very beautiful story. The story goes like this. We all know the hare and the tortoise story. So we all know that tortoise ends up winning the race because the hare, that is the rabbit, goes and sleeps underneath the tree. It is way too confident, and then it loses the race. Tortoise wins. Slowly it walks, goes, and then wins the race. Right? Now this is a whole story which we are all familiar with, which says slow and steady wins the race. But tell me, in today's world, being slow and steady will win the race? No. Now here what happened is, rabbit lost the race because it was overconfident. Since it was overconfident, it lost the race. So now what will happen is, there's an extension of story, and in the second part what happens is, rabbit actually challenges the tortoise and it tells, we'll race again. So can you guess who will win? Absolutely yes. In the second race, rabbit goes on to win the race because it realizes its mistake. So what is the moral of the story? The moral of the story is, failure is only a stepping stone for success, and failure is only permanent if you stop trying it. The moment you stop trying it, the word failure comes into picture. So never ever give up, never stop trying. Keep this in mind. Okay, now what happens is, the story gets extended, and then in the third part, the tortoise this time, it challenges the rabbit. So rabbit, immediately he accepts the challenge, and then he says that we will race. And look at the beauty. All what the tortoise tells is, there is a slight change in the direction, and it doesn't. The rabbit does not care. Right? Now what happens is, the race starts, and immediately the tortoise, slowly it crawls, rabbit runs very fast, and there's a slight change in the direction, and immediately the rabbit sees that there's a very big river, and then it stops. So tortoise comes slowly, swims across, goes to the other side, wins the race. So what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is, always focus on your competitive advantage. The competitive advantage, the core strength of a tortoise is it can swim, whereas rabbit cannot swim. And that's how tortoise wins. So please don't take your opponents lightly when they challenge you. They might have some sort of a competitive advantage that you might not have. Keep this in mind. So now the best part is the fourth part of the story, that's called the teamwork. So now rabbit and tortoise, they get into an understanding, they collaborate, and what they realize is, if they both work together, they'll win the race at the half the time. So first, as soon as the race starts, rabbit will hold the tortoise at its back, It will run very fast. As soon as they reach the river, tortoise swims and rabbit is at the top of the tortoise. They reach to the other side. Again, rabbit holds tortoise at its back, runs, and then they complete the race at the fastest possible time. So that's the beauty of teamwork. Keep this in mind, friends. Right? So please remember that no matter how much ever the obstacles you face in your life, you should have a very clear goal and you should go on for it. It's very important. So it's just like, consider an adventurer. He gets into a raft. He knows that there are a lot of dangerous rocks, and then there is also a swill of water, that passes by. Still, he enjoys that adventure, and then finally he succeeds in reaching the destination. So life is all about enjoying the journey, right? Rather than, focusing way too much on the goal. You might have a lot of obstacles, that will come day in and day out. Don't worry much. But then enjoy the journey of life. Have a very clear goal as well. And then you'll be able to achieve, whatever you want. Fine. The next slide is one of the most important ones. And then it's all about attitude. Keep it in mind. So your attitude will determine your altitude. Very, very important. Fine. And I'll also give you a very beautiful story over here. See, there is a very leading car manufacturing company, and what will happen is they'll come out with a sports car. And as soon as the sports car is made, it has to come out of the showroom, from the garage. Now what will happen is they will realize that the roof of the car, exactly touches the roof of that particular door. So immediately what will happen is the engineer will give an idea. He'll tell, let's break open the door, get the car out, and again, we will make a new door. Then a painter, he'll come and then he'll say that, no, it's okay. There'll be some scratches at the top, and I'll again do a finishing touch, and you'll not even realize that there was any scratch, right? So ultimately, you'll not believe, what is the best possible solution from whom it comes. It comes from a watchman. He'll be standing in the corner. So he'll come and then he'll say, please, if you don't mind. So he'll be telling this to the CEO, engineer, and the painter. They give some ideas. Can I throw some light on this? And immediately, they start laughing. They'll think, what will this watchman say? And he gives a very beautiful idea. He says, just why don't you take out the air from the wheels, and then this car can come out. See, such a beautiful solution. So he says, just take out the air from the wheels, and then the car can come out, and again, you can refill the tires with air. So even in life, this air is nothing but the ego. You'll have to let go the ego to be successful in life. It's very important. And ego is one thing, that pulls all of us down. The moment it takes over us, in our life, that's where, our downfall starts. Keep it in mind. And there's also one other very beautiful example I wanted to give, that of Aditya Birla. So it's known as AB philosophy. The reason is, there was one of the senior executive, he did a mistake, and company lost crores of rupees. So everybody were talking, they were saying that Aditya Birla is going to fire him. So this guy goes to his cabin, and Aditya Birla, when he goes, sits down there, what happens is, Aditya Birla takes a notepad and he starts writing down some points, stating that points in favor of this person. And over there he writes that there was a time when company was about to lose a deal, and this guy helped in bagging the deal, which was worth millions of dollars. So he'll write down all the plus points of him, and finally, he says that these are some of the best things you did for the company. And he was amazed, this top executive was amazed. And he thought, Aditya Birla will shout at him, he will yell at him, but nothing happens. So he goes on to stay in this company, and then he performs exceedingly well, and this becomes the talk of the entire, Birla group. Okay, so please keep this in mind, it's important. So always have empathy towards others. Remember this. Please have empathy towards others, right? And don't yell at others. See, anger is one of the major enemy that we have within ourselves, right? So what matters the most is our own attitude. So now, next one, look at this. we have hard work, we have knowledge, luck, money, leadership. Nothing is close to 100%, right? Attitude is the only thing. When you add, all the alphabets, right, you end up getting what is called 100%, which is the best possible value, that you can get, right? So remember this, it's important that attitude matters the most, and you'll have to be very, very humble and down to earth. The more the humble and down to earth you are, the higher the probability that you'll scale up in life. Okay, let me move on to the next slide of the presentation. Yes, see, most of the times we are worried thinking about what others are thinking about us. Yes or no? So when you talk to another person and then suppose he's looking here and there, your immediate thought process is, did I do a mistake? Why is he looking here and there? Right? So that's a problem. See, we should not worry, what others think about us. If they're giving a feedback, that is different. But what is important is what we think about ourselves matters the most. So even if you're a cat and when you view yourself as a lion, then yes, you will be a lion. So be you. You can see believe in yourself, and be and you is in yellow color. So you have to be you. You have to be original. You are born for a reason. You are born for a purpose. You are born to be highly successful, in your life. Please keep this in mind. Okay, now next very important point, that you have to keep it in mind, especially during this COVID-19, is to stay positive. You have to be an optimist. Whatever you think, see, the thought process can either go positive or it can go negative. Make sure that you're only thinking positive, all the time. So there's again a very beautiful quote that I wrote it down, that 0.01% of optimism is enough to overcome 99.99% of pessimism. Because it's just like 0.01% is like droplets of water that make up the ocean, right? So never give up. You never know how close you are. No matter whatever the problems are, always have the will, to fight back, right? And 2020 is a very interesting year. We all know that. And you can see a very beautiful image over here, which says, why so optimistic about 2020? What do you think it will bring? And this guy says it will bring flowers. And the other person asks, how come? He says, because I'm planting flowers. So what you shall sow, see, if you are thinking positive all the time, even the output is going to be positive, right? You start thinking most of the time, then if you are pessimistic, then the output would be the same. So please understand that the law of attraction, when we talk about the universal power, what you think is what you end up getting. So it's important that whatever you think, you're thinking positive all the time, right? And there's a very beautiful, slide over here. If you look at it, it all starts with a thought, right? Thinking followed by action. And that action becomes an habit. Habit becomes, part of your lifestyle. Your lifestyle is what determines your character. And that ultimately leads you to destiny. So a smoker, who smokes, there's an urge in his mind that he has to smoke, right? Something hits his head. Then immediately the action, what he takes is, he takes a cigarette and then he starts smoking. Then that becomes part of his habit, part of his lifestyle, right? And tomorrow when you have a friend, who is a chain smoker, you end up saying him or her, right, that he is a chain smoker. So the mind is the key. If you take a door, if you take any door, the key is actually your mind. You will always have to be positive, in your thought process. And then it has also been proved that you can actually change your thought process through what is called changing, your way of thinking and then implementing it. And that is where my next slide would actually take you on, right? So train your mind to see good in everything. Positivity is the choice. Happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. So remember that it just starts with a thought followed by action, right? So here, there's a very interesting book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's an international bestseller. And what he says is, whatever you want to do in your life, if you follow it continuously for 21 days, then it will become a habit, right? And 90 days would be your lifestyle. You'll have to do it continuously for 21 days. Suppose say you want to go for a walk. First day you'll keep alarm at 5:30, you won't wake up. Second day, same thing. On the fourth day, you wake up not at 5:30 but say at 6:30, and then you make it a habit of going for a walk. Now continuously, if you follow this for 21 days, what will happen is automatically on the 22nd day, even without an alarm, you'll wake up at 5:30 itself, get ready and then go for a walk, right? So habits can be changed, but for that you'll have to apply it consistently and take an action. That's very important. And when we talk about success, again, there's a very beautiful quote that think big. Whatever you do, right, it's important that you need to think big. So where success is concerned, people are not measured in inches or pounds or college degrees or family background. They're measured by the size of their thinking. And if you look at this beautiful country named India, anything and everything is possible. If you believe in yourself and if you work hard and if you think big. So we have Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, from a very poor family, but he made it so big, right? So it is possible, fine. And for success, you'll have lots of ups and downs in life. Please keep it in mind. People might not see that, but then you need to believe in yourself and you need to be positive all the time and then go ahead. See, one other important point I wanted to convey is don't think way too much. Overthinking is a problem. It's been stated by Swami Vivekananda himself. Right? Thinking is good, but overthinking is a problem. The problem with overthinking is you will have a starting problem. You might end up doing nothing. So no point in being a thinker. You have to be a doer as well. That's what I told you at the beginning of the presentation. So look at this very beautiful slide. Pretty huge queue. For talker also there's a huge queue. Doer, he's busy doing things. So you need to take action. That's very, very important. Thought process you have, fine, but put it into action. And no point in talking to yourself and saying I should have. See, this is what exactly Jeff Bezos did. He worked on a very simple concept called regret minimization framework when he started Amazon. So he never wanted to regret, during his retirement age that I wish I had started that. And that is what exactly this slide is trying to convey. So please do it. Don't keep thinking a lot. And later on, don't repent that I should have. Right? And Power of Your Subconscious Mind, very beautiful book by Joseph Murphy. Please read it. And what it says is, whatever we think, I was telling you, you have to think positively. Why? Because whatever you think, it keeps getting stored in your subconscious mind. So you have to be very, very careful, when it comes to your own thinking, your own thought process. Right? And most of the time, whatever we do, it is all, what we have it in our subconscious mind. So I'm running short of time, so I'll be quite fast in my presentation because there are quite a few other things as well that needs to be covered, right? So here, there's again a very beautiful quote which says about planning and then implementation. So if you keep planning it and if you don't implement it, it's useless, it is futile. And again, please remember, if you implement it without planning, it's fatal, it's extremely dangerous. So make sure that both planning and implementation, goes hand in hand, right? And other important, key for success is to be adaptable and then willing to accept change. See, change is the only thing that is constant in this world. Please keep it in mind. And there's also a very beautiful book called Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson. My request is please read this book because I'm running short of time. I'll not be able to run this story, right? But remember this and keep it in mind that change also always comes with resistance. So you can see a very beautiful image wherein the candles were all very happy, and they wanted bulb to be hanged. Right, so innovations basically is one thing that is the key for success, and you always have to be adaptable and you should be willing to accept change. Keep it in mind, right? So secret of change is to focus all your energy not on fighting the old but on building the new. Remember this and keep it in mind, right? And there's also a very beautiful quote that I've mentioned here which says, when thinking about life, remember this: no amount of guilt can change the past and no amount of anxiety can change the future. because most of the time our mind is shuffling between the past and then the future, right? And it's also important that we need to dream big. So Martin Luther King, he came out with a very beautiful quote. He says, "I have a dream, not have a goal," because dream is the one that will give you an unknown power. Goal is important. Goal will give you direction, but dream is the one that will give you an unknown power, right? And yes, connecting the dots. So you can see there are dots, and then if you have to connect it in one go, I have given the solution over here. So what am I doing? I'm just going out of the box. You can see that the line is getting extended way beyond, right? And then I'm just able to connect all the dots. So think big, big picture thinking is very, very important in life. And then think like a leader, be positive all the time. And these are the things that will play a very important role. Now, Buddha, he gave a very beautiful quote. He says, "I'm awake." Why does he say this? The reason is because God, even God, he has come out with this word called present, because present is the best present, that we can get from God. Keep this in mind. No point in mind fluctuating between the past and then the future. Future is always uncertain. Past is you're never going to get back. So live in the present and make the best possible use of time. Your future is definitely taken care. Okay. So again here, yes, life is always a game that balances between trust and betrayal. So within ourselves itself, we have good and then we have bad. So make sure that you're good all the time, thinking positive all the time, and then you'll be able to get what you want. Very beautiful, 4 principles of karma that I wanted to mention. You can just remember this letters called HMBO. Okay, see, whatever has to happen will happen, no matter what. If it has to happen, it will happen. And whenever you meet someone, you actually meet for a reason. It is not by accident or by chance. And whatever has to begin, it will only begin at that time. It will not begin neither before nor after. And whatever is over is over. So please remember that our entire life is based on these 4 principles, right? And whatever has to happen will happen. You cannot stop it. Whomever you meet also, you meet for a reason. Whatever has to begin will happen only at that time. It will begin only at that time. Because sometimes we think, right, I wish I did this 5 years back. And then the guilt starts. So let go the guilt. If it has to begin, it will begin only at that time. And whatever is over again. No point in repenting, right? Now, next most important thing, before I wind up the presentation is about time. See, we all have 86,400 seconds. Don't give excuses in life. It is how you effectively, you use this time. Okay, and how do you balance your professional as well as your personal life? Will a lot depend on you. Fine. So left brain, they're very, very logical people. Right brain are actually creative. And the key is to use both the light and then the left brain. It's possible. That's where the adaptability and change will play a very important role. So don't repent, don't be guilty if you are postponing things. So procrastination, postponing things is a very bad habit which most of us we have, but it's okay. So first most important thing is plan and then prioritize. Give very high priority to the tasks which are very, very important. The next thing is begin with end in a mind. It's very important. So if you have a very clear goal, then it's easy because you'll start working towards it, right? And there's also a very beautiful Pareto principle which says the 80-20 rule. So 80-20 is something which is common everywhere. What it says is with 20% of your effort, you can get 80% of the results. It's possible. So try to identify and see the time wherein you are very, very effective. Some people are very good in the morning. Some people are good in afternoon. Some people are very good in evening. Make the best possible use of time at that time. In fact, I would suggest you to utilize that time, in reading books. That really helps you a lot. And there's a very beautiful quadrant also that I wanted to explain this. So you can look at this particular slide, right? Not important, not urgent. You can see social media, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, they're all time wasters. Watching excessive TV, they're not going to help. So when you're prioritizing things, make sure that you're giving very high priority to important ones. And when we are all, see, today we live in a world wherein most of us are addicted to mobile phones. So please be careful with that, right? You can also come out with a very simple time log like this, wherein if you have a diary, you can just write down 7 to 7:30, 7:30 to 8, 8 to 8:30, what tasks you want to do. You can write it down well in advance and then execute it. So please remember, start your day. I mean, the next day has to start at the end of the previous day. So a day before, at night before you're sleeping, just take 5 minutes and then write it down as to what you want to do the next day. Then that will give you a lot of direction, for the day, right? So what can stop you? All these negative thoughts, negative people, right? Low self-esteem, fear of failure, fear of rejection. See, please remember, it's not failure that pulls you down. It is the fear that actually pulls you down. Very, very important. You have to keep this in mind. Okay, so the moment you have a fear, then you'll never put a step forward. So failure is only permanent if you stop trying it, right? So let go this fear, whatever you have. And again, smart goals. So S is specific and self, M is something that is measurable, A is achievable, R is realistic and rewarding, and T is time bound, right? So productivity is all about not like sitting for one full day and then working. Even with 2 to 3 hours of effort, if you can plan it properly and if you can execute it, you might get the best of the results in a day. Keep it in mind, okay? So a few very interesting slides. So knowledge is life. Remember this. You have to work smart as well. That's also important, right? And again, a very beautiful image on priorities. Phone is one person down. He gets up from the bed, goes there, and then he's collapsed, gone, right? So priorities too matters the most. Again, very beautiful point. If you're irritated by every rub, how will you be polished as well, right? So if you look at 12 habits of highly productive people, see what they do is they try to review like what worked and then what did not work also. So what did not work, they try to jot it down and then analyze and see that why it didn't work. They're also very good in planning, right? They anticipate obstacles and then they work towards it. They're very good in prioritizing things. They always do, one thing at a time. And they also set very clear boundaries. They are very good in delegating things to others as well. So that's basically an art of a good leader. Keep this in mind. He'll not only lead from the front, he's also good at delegating things, right? And then they also commit to what is called continuous improvement. And that's how, you succeed in life, right? So life is uncertain. So please look at all this beautiful images. Appreciate what you have. Nobody knows when the last goodbye is, right? It's okay to be different, doesn't matter. Even if people are criticizing you, abusing you, but you believe in yourself, you want to take a path which others have not chosen, you'll still succeed because you believe in yourself, right? That's important. So again, very beautiful image. Sorry, sir, no baggage allowed.
Hello.
So we
Sir. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sorry
Yes.
sorry to interrupt in between, sir. We are just having 2-3 minutes more, sir. So I think
Yes, I'm winding up. This is the last slide.
Sorry.
Yes, this is the last slide. I'm winding it up.
Okay.
Yes, I'm keeping track of time. Yes.
Okay.
So see again, the beauty of this is all these words are starting with P, whether it is power, position, politics, postpone, prolong, push, prayer, potential, passion, profitable, people. See, all these words are starting with P. Again, positive and pessimistic, both are starting with letter P only. So what is important is whether it's personal or professional, you have to make the best possible use of the present time, be positive, be playful, take things in a very sportive way and plan very well, and then be principled, be punctual in whatever you do, be practical, and don't have a habit of postponing things, push yourself up. Right, prayers also play a very important role. That's what the book Power of Subconscious Mind tells. See, ultimately in the end, you can see P for people. People is what matters the most, right? So your attitude and then the way you move with people matters the most. So this is my last slide. So this is the strategy. Please follow it to make sure that you're always having high levels of self-motivation. Always be positive, be super confident, but please don't be overconfident. Right? Follow 20-minute strategy. It's a very important one. Whatever you do it 20 minutes. Rigorously take a small break. Again, do it for 20 minutes. So even 10 times you execute this 20-minute strategy, you'll be putting in 200 minutes. That is 3 hours, 20 minutes of your effort. So 21-90 rule, positive feedback mechanism is again very important. When someone gives a feedback, try to analyze and see whether will it help you, right? Enjoy the present. Taps, that is being good in time management, attitude, positive thinking, and sincerity matters the most. And yes, the key to productivity and growth is make sure that you are happy always, because happiness, will dwell from your heart. Thanking you. Thanks a lot, for giving me an opportunity to talk. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. The participants who have questions can email us as there's no time. So I would like to thank Mr. Vijay for being a part of this webinar and giving us the opportunity to hear your thoughts. I thank Mr. Vipindra and Mr. Kumar for conducting such interesting, motivational and knowledgeable webinars. I lastly also thank the participants. I would also like to announce the next webinar, which will be on 5th August, Wednesday, and it is by Uday Shanoy, and topic is Introduction to Society Laws and Conveyance. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Kapil.